I'd ask David Gravender to come forward to the podium, and Rebecca is going to do the introduction, and then we'll have the reading of the resolution.
Yes,
This is Rebecca Campbell from the
Yes.
Administrative Office.
Thank you. Rebecca Campbell, Assistant County Administrative Officer. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So part of telling the county's story within the county's framework for the future is a line of effort called SLO Talk. SLO Talk is an initiative that explores and implements different ways to share information with our community. For example, we are planning an exciting event called the State of the County. It's an evening event for January 5th of 2024. Additionally, today, we are starting a new tradition that is a SLO Talk effort called SLO Moments. SLO Moments are where we periodically set aside time during a Board of Supervisors meeting to recognize one of our nearly 3,000 employees for going above and beyond in the course of their daily job. Examples of going above and beyond may include solving an extraordinary problem or demonstrating outstanding accomplishment that furthers the county's goals, finding an opportunity for improvement and implementing an innovative idea, or demonstrating outstanding effort and service for the past year. Today, we recognize David Gravender. He is a business systems analyst in our Child Support Services Department. He has gone above and beyond. David has been recognized by the state for his accomplishments. Please, let's take a moment to view Dave's commitment to public service.
There are about 3,000 employees working for the County of San Luis Obispo, and among those, there are those who go above and beyond in their commitment to public service. Their exceptional work may not make headlines, but it is worthy of recognition. We want to take a SLO moment to do so. There are times systems can get in the way of service, but when you have someone like Dave Gravender, who is not afraid to dive into the weeds of those systems, understand their capabilities, and explain how to make best use of them, the people we serve benefit.
I think it was back in October of 2019. The state purchased software called Tableau. So it's just a way to bring data together that's easier for people to understand. So I went down to Riverside and got the training. And then it was go off and use it. And so there wasn't a lot of direction on what to do with it or how to use the tool.
Dave invented these dashboards.
So I started looking at how can I make this valuable to our child support specialists, the people that do this data day in and day out. My first dashboard that I created was just a list. And it turned out that it was a list that we were creating manually. Creating the list took about 30 minutes a day. And then the staff had to look through it, so that was taking another 10 or 15 minutes for them to get that work done. And so I created the Tableau list from the list they were working on in about a day, and that report now runs in about 5 seconds.
Then he rolls it out to our staff, and staff are amazed. It's this dynamic, colorful way to slice and dice data in a way that they've never done before.
So then I started looking at how do we really measure productivity of our workers? Because then COVID happened, people went remote, so they weren't in the office anymore. And so there's this really hard way to get at what is productivity. So I was able to create a dashboard that brought in kind of the number of things that people were doing, a way for supervisors to review that data very easily, and then a way to bring in our payroll data, time data, to see how efficiently were they getting those things produced. It's the one that I talked to Natalie about and said, could we create this for the entire state? And so I gave it to Santa Barbara to have them start looking at it. And so working together, we kind of created different ideas, developed it, expanded it. And then it was said, Natalie, I think I'm ready to present this to all of the small and very small directors. Once I'd done it for all the small and very small LCSAs, I thought this could work for everybody.
A few months more go by, and then one day Dave approaches me and lets me know, hey, by the way, I've actually done this for the entire state.
Now it's called the CSS scorecard. So now there's 42 counties that are in some form of implementation of the CSS scorecard.
He literally has spent thousands of hours trying to create dashboards that we can use across the entire state that change the way we manage our cases.
Well, interestingly, I'm going to be contracted to work for the state. I will go work for the state while I'm still here. I'm still in this department, part of this department, but I'm going to go work for the state doing Tableau statewide.
I think because he enjoys this work so much, every day he comes in and tells me how much he loves his job. He was able to take his wanting to be a part of public service and wanting to give back, and then mirror it with this vast IT technology that he has, bring those two things together and really come up with tools that make case managers manage their cases better.
You see, we have some trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Use Tableau. You can sing along with this part, it's easy.
So the first time Dave got the award, we nominated him, and at that time Tableau was this big. It was a fraction of what it was, and really it was SLO County that was using it. When he got the second award, I didn't know he had even been nominated. It was another LCSA that got together and they nominated him, which is huge.
It's quite humbling to go to the conference and have for them, you're in front of, I don't know, 1,000 people or so, and then they choose you to be the individual outstanding achievement. It's like, I'm just doing my job, right?
He loves what he does, and it shows. It shows in the passion that he has. I think he was so well deserving of this award, and I'm really excited that he's going to be the first person that SLO honors.
We do the work because it's the right thing to do, and then to be recognized for it is nice, but it's not the reason. I mean, the reason is because it's the right thing to do.
Yes, well, it's my pleasure today to read this resolution recognizing Dave Gravender for being an exemplary example of public service to the County of San Luis Obispo. Whereas David Gravender lived up to his title of Business Systems Analyst by pinpointing a system, learning it, and making himself an expert on it. And whereas Mr. Gravender not only made it easier for county staff to do their jobs, but to better assist the people they served. And whereas Mr. Gravender offered the expertise, he took it upon himself to acquire and shared it with other counties in the state, once again exemplifying the County of San Luis Obispo as a leader in efficiency and streamlined services. And whereas Mr. Gravender was honored with the Outstanding Individual Achievement Award by the California Child Support Directors Association in both 2021 and 2023, and whereas Mr. Gravender will assist the state of California to train and implement the Tableau wizardry at counties statewide, and whereas Mr. Gravender is always looking for ways to standardize and streamline systems, making them more efficient and easy to use, now therefore be it resolved and ordered that the Board of Supervisors of the County of San Luis Obispo, State of California, do hereby congratulate and recognize Mr. Dave Gravender for his exemplary public service.
Well, I didn't know the song was going to be part of that. That was a bit of a surprise. Frankie, that was amazing what you did with what I gave you to work with. Thank you so much. I really want to thank the Board of Supervisors and the administration for this recognition. It's quite an honor, especially to be selected, humbling actually, to be selected out of almost 3,000 employees as the first person. Well, I said I wasn't going to get emotional today. But I'll say nobody does this alone, right? It takes a team. And many of those people here today from the Department of Child Support Services to help recognize me, which I thank very much. Another person I have to thank is Phil Kreider from Santa Barbara. Phil's recently retired and just an outstanding person. You know, we stand on the shoulder of giants when we do what we do. But another person that's not here today is Natalie Walter, our director, who is out at meetings doing the leadership we need to keep our agency on task and doing what we do. But Natalie had some vision 3 years ago or 4 years ago to create this position as a business systems analyst, and then had the courage to hire me. You know, my resume is not exactly what you would think to hire as a business systems analyst. It's much different. Natalie calls it my second act because it's very different than what I used to do. And then third, she has the willingness to give me the freedom to just do whatever I want. And I mean that in the best way, that it gives me the freedom to explore new areas of opportunity, to find new things to help people. When I say I love my job, I love helping people. And sometimes that's day-to-day efforts like, rebooting the system or resetting a password or getting really technical and saying, well, let's try turning it off and turning it back on again, because that's what I do a lot. But then sometimes you get the opportunity to try something new and really explore things that have never been done before. A lot of times they don't work. I've developed a lot of dashboards that no one's ever seen because they're not valuable. But just sometimes you create something that has some value and it helps somebody. And then it helps a few people, and then it helps the whole department, and then eventually helps the whole state. It's incredible. Thank you.
Yay.